Hi everyone, I'm Eugene.
And I'm Andrea.
Do you want to take the Power Couple quiz? Please visit our website at webuildlegacy.com. Go to our home page and click on the Home tab. Scroll down to the Power Couple quiz. Let's discuss an idea from the Power Couple quiz.
Okay, so one of the ideas and things you're asked to rate is I believe there are certain characteristics that will always describe women and other characteristics that will always describe men. These characteristics don't change. What do you say, Coach Green Jean?
Man, I know that there's probably a time when I probably would have said, you know what, there are some characteristics about men and women that don't change. That would probably been in my formative time, but now I would say yes, there are things that do change. Back in the day, I would have been my regular response. It would be like, yeah, women are a lot emotional.
So are you saying that they do change or they don't? Which one is it?
Formatively, I would have said they don't change.
Oh, they don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Women are just generally very, very high maintenance, emotional, and men are just stoic and caveman-y like. But due to living life, I've seen men who are very, very high energy, emotional, and women who are stoic and cave womany like.
Okay.
Yeah, when I say cave woman, I mean a woman who or a woman who will, just get stoic and be like, you know what, I don't feel like talking.
Who does that? Who would think to do something
I'm
like
finished.
that?
I'm
Who would be
finished.
finished like that?
What about you, Dr. Dula?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to frame this. This is one of those things where, making assumptions about people really goes wrong. And if that's the case, if things just simply did not change, then it wouldn't require so much of us learning each other. If really the things didn't change. I do believe that well, now I can barely even say that changes, but I'm gonna say it. I do believe that as far as being a womb man and having the ability to birth children, or even the equipment to birth children, to nurture children outside of the womb and such.
So when we say characteristics, I guess.
Well, it's in general, but see, here's the thing. For me, I think that there are people that believe that because a womb man has a womb, and a man has this or doesn't have a that, then that's the thing that makes a woman is just a woman. She get that time of the month, and you just gotta go whatever go, cause she down there. Her ain't floating on visiting.
There are physiological things that.
See, I promise to be good on these videos, but I would say,
I mean, they
in
happen,
as kind
so
of way as I could.
Everybody deals with them differently.
There are times when one might want to ask a man, "Is it your time of the month?" I'm just saying.
Because you're certainly acting out of
character for the masculine male. I mean, come on. We know that we both have. There's so many different dynamics, and so let me go through a bunch of different stuff. You have yin and yang. The notion that we have the feminine and the masculine that coexist together, right, and actually touch each other. You can.
I like the way you said that they touch each other.
Yes.
And in that, when they touch each other, that's why nowadays, maybe not back in my formative time, but nowadays I say that feminine and that masculine energy is being expressed in different ways.
Yeah.
Like formatively, I would have been a lot more, well,
I think
a masculine. Yeah,
society kind of puts us in that space. But you can look throughout history, even those who study horoscopes or look at the stars or whatever, or practice personality types. There's acknowledgement that says, okay, what personality are you? Now based on whichever one you use, whether you use DISC or whether you use 4 personality types like melancholy, sanguine, phlegmatic, or who am I leaving out?
Choleric.
Or choleric. There are those that are considered to be more feminine. So like if you're more docile, and you're more passive, they're like, oh, that's a feminine trait.
Yeah.
But if you're aggressive or very logical, that's a masculine trait. Well, if you know anything about personality types, if you worked at your jobs and had these assessments done, yes, it's more common in society to accept the choleric man, the A personality type male, than it is to accept an A personality type woman. We have other names for the women that choose to be that way. If you study astrology or something like that, yourself, people look and say, oh, based on the sign, this person will be more emotional. There are different ways that people have shown throughout history that it's not just this polarized kind of thing. We carry the masculine, we carry the feminine, the left-sided brain person, and the one who's dominant right brain. Are you logical or are you creative? Creative is considered to be that, which one? That feminine, soft. And then the logical one, the one who's linear, who can have a discussion. I have learned
and you sound like a program from the 60s.
I didn't I? I have learned of myself through various means that even the work that we're doing here with relationships, and the fact that my research was based on relationship education and being able to offer something in that, I have learned and accepted that I really don't look at relationships as primarily emotional. And that's one of the reasons because I categorize. How many times do I tell you, babe, everything is a system for me. Everything is a category for me. Friendships are, and I'm not just a linear person, but when it comes to relationships, I really see them as something that
is involved with a spectrum.
It's a spectrum. It's not. Thank you for that word. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I needed that word.
Well, I didn't start looking at it in like a spectrum. I was more linear or categorizing the different.
And I was busy trying to fit into that. Like when you talked about the cavemen, I'm the one who's like, listen, hey, this sounds like confusion to me. I just don't, all of this. And it's not because he's like, babe, it's not that. It's because he wants to discuss some stuff. And
yeah, but I know females. I know, feminine energy that are straight to the point and want to discuss issues. So,
right. And that's the thing. It's like women are not just one way and men are not just one way. There are certain things.
Yeah.
Yes, if you are, I'm a birth worker. So I deal with women in birth all the time. I've been pregnant 4 times myself and been in numerous environments with women who are pregnant or have just been pregnant and are postpartum and have just had a baby. I can attest to the hormonal changes that happen in our body that don't necessarily happen in a man. But then there are times where people will talk about how the husband or the partner experiences the morning sickness and different things. Okay? They're the ones like, I don't know, I can't eat. I just think it's lovely myself. I haven't heard that one. Yes. You never dealt with it. The word slips my mind right now what it's called.
Oh, for men. Morning sickness for men.
No, it's called some kind of pregnancy. Is when the gentleman will experience some of the symptoms of pregnancy. And so, but by and large.
And you know what? Just because we're touching on this and we're talking about the Power Couple Quiz, that's why I enjoyed your research, because what we're doing is giving our perspective over years of living life and living marriage. And we realize, just like on our talk
we've
today.
Been married almost 30 years.
Almost 30 years.
We've been friends almost 30 years. Hold on. We've been, that's a long
26, going on 27 years. And so, with that, just like our talk this morning, openness for us, it appeared that, you can get more out of talks in a relationship when you're open than you're categorizing and pinpointing someone into a corner and saying, you are being emotional, but then too, that's why I loved your research, because with the Power Couple Quiz, it assists us to identify our particular archetype. So it doesn't mean that someone that's more open, as it relates to gender, differences or defining gender roles, mm-hmm. that they're right or correct. It's just a certain archetype.
This is just who, and it's who you're expressing right now.
Exactly.
Our
Exactly. That's
children
good.
are essentially gone. So I can be in a different way. When we were first married, even though we didn't follow a certain pattern to the T, and I was working and he was working, I ended up being at home. But it wasn't because that's your place in the home. It was because as an educator, I was out there teaching other people's children. And then the prospect came that I would one day be sending my children off. And I am from the South where, it's a different thing going on. And I could not see my children like putting my precious ones into schools in Chicago because I wasn't accustomed to it. I never seen a district with I think at the time was over 660 schools. I'd never heard, how do y'all have one school district for that? That doesn't make sense. 3 or 4 maybe. How many? What? No. Not my baby. So I was at home and some people from the outside registered it as, oh, that means that y'all are very traditional. No, this was our decision. And literally the way it happened, and I'm going to stop after this. The way it happened was one day I came home and I said, I was pregnant with number 2. And I was like, I think I want to homeschool because it was almost time for the other one to be put somewhere. I said, I want to homeschool. He was like, what? I said, I want to homeschool. It wasn't part of the deal we had made. We had not discussed like, oh, this is what's going to happen or anything. And I never told him that I would ever want to be at home. But he looked at me and he said, okay, when people would question, what is your wife doing? What is your wife doing? He was always empowering me. Go ask her what she's doing. We got this. How did you say it? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't remember.
But he was backing me up. So from the outside, it could look like one thing. From the inside, it could be another. So just keep that in mind.
That's right. Thank you, guys.
This is Dr. Andrea Little Mason, affectionately known as Dr. Doula, and I'm here with a quote from the Birth Her Story blog titled, A Birthing Mom, a Doula Dad, and a Baby That Wouldn't Wait. Christy Willis says, I felt stuck. I couldn't move. I felt restricted and no one was holding me. My fear was of being restrained again. I didn't want to feel tied down because I felt like if I could get up, I could do better. I could do so much better. I wanted freedom. To hear this interview and a host of other interviews with Black women in birth, please visit drdoula.com, where you'll find not only those interviews, but also resources to help you begin to reclaim your birthrights.
Hi, guys. This is Coach Green Jean, and welcome out to Restoring the Dignity of Labor, where we show young people how to make connections into their crafted talent. Today's quote is from Dr. Miles Monroe. Don't seek the value within things, but become that person of value. Allow your fruit to manifest within you like a tree, and your audience will see and become attracted and follow you. Don't forget to visit CoachGreenGene.com. This is Coach Green Jean, and we're developing our craft to building sustainable pathways for the next generation.